The community of Mamelodi, east of Pretoria, came out in their numbers today to honor 10-year-old Katlego Joja. Joja, who was diagnosed with autism, went missing last Thursday and her lifeless body was found on Sunday. Well, eNCA's Khayelihle Khumalo was in Mamelodi and he joins us now in the studio. Good evening, Kaya. What is the community? Yes, they came to show solidarity, but I understand they've made demands as well.
Well, absolutely, Vuyo, they have. For example, they are calling for the police who were on duty on that particular day when the Joja family went to open a case to face the music, because they do believe that police ought to have been proactive in terms of making sure that this particular case is prioritized, given the very seriousness of this case, and also given the fact that in that particular area there has been a surge of these particular incidents whereby young girls will be abducted and eventually found a lifeless body, thrown in the most terrible circumstances.
What has been the police's response?
Well, certainly, Vuyo, from the side of the police, I think they have tried to provide clarity in as far as the whole non-existent 24-hour policy, because obviously that was a motivation that the police used in saying, look, the family had to wait for a period of 24 hours. So now there has been a clarification from the side of the police of saying immediately now, if one comes to open a case, they should be proactive and really investigate instantaneously in making sure that they're able to find perpetrators if there are any. And also the family, the Joja, they still have quite a number of questions surrounding the circumstances of this particular incident. They're talking about the fact that little Katlego was a very indoor person. She was living with autism, and also, in terms of the security around their residence, there were 2 latches, so they really don't know who opened and how she disappeared. And obviously, seeing on late Sunday afternoon where she was found floating literally in a river.
Where did this 24-hour policy idea come from? Whether it was real or not, but how did it come into the picture?
In terms of the origin, Vuyo, it's $1 million question as to where did it really emanate from. But the police have been at pains to say they ought to have, acted quickly in making sure that, a lot is done to save this particular life. And also that has been a point that has been harped on by the Jojas. They're saying perhaps if the police acted more quickly, perhaps today they would be feeding their child. They wouldn't be planning now the burial of their daughter. So, but once again, it's talking about also a lot of issues when it comes to the police, whether are they equipped in handling the cases involving the children with special needs, and in this particular case, autism. And more interestingly enough, Vuyo, there were so many people who came out to the demonstration, the faith-based organization and also autism activists who were also there to try to conscientize the community about some of the realities that they may not be aware of.
Now, what did the community say they'll do if the police do not act, or there is no evidence that they are taking this as seriously as they now promise to take it?
Absolutely. Outrage was so evident in the streets of Mamelodi today, and because obviously that's where the march culminated around the police station precinct. So they've made it patently clear that the police in that particular area need to be more active, and also so many lobby groups also showed up. And really just to make sure that the community also, the active citizenry, for example, they're calling the police to make sure that they have adequate measures in terms of making sure that they dedicate resources in tackling some of these cases. And also, people are saying police should not be reactive. We always see these incidents whereby a girl will disappear and then a reactionary approach will then, subsequent to the event, happen. So now there's a clarion call for police to be proactive and for them to be able to deal with these cases. But also, for example, talk about the community structures within the communities themselves. If there are suspicious activities, no one should keep quiet. People should be, vocal about these issues so that they are able to nip such cases in the bud.
But also, I suppose for the community to know, the needs of people who are living with this condition. Now, do we know, very quickly before I let you go, do we know how far police are with regards to Katlego's autopsy report?
Well, at this point in time, where they're talking about these inquest dockets that they've opened, and we're still awaiting the autopsy report to really clear cut to determine the actual cause of her death, because at this point in time, no one really knows what happened to her. With the very frantic search on social media and in so many platforms as well, no one really has established the actual cause. So now we're still waiting to see as to what's really happened. But also what we know is that, for example, tomorrow there'll be a memorial service in her honor, and then on Friday there'll be the actual funeral.
We're going to leave it for now. Thanks very much, Khaya, for coming through. Khaya, of course, following up or keeping an eye, rather, on that very, very sad story.